Hey, you new to the area or just want to know about the best hidden gems and upcoming events? Stay tuned. Be Local Buzz with Devin takes you to these places, introduces you to the best businesses, and tells you about upcoming buzz. Preset your radio to Tan Talk 1340 AM or 106.1 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. That is the Be Local Buzz with Devin on Tan Talk 1340 AM and 106 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. Looking forward to speaking with you.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
It's now time for Connecting Caregivers with author, speaker, caregiver advocate, and talk show host Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for caregivers.
Caregivers around the world today, it's time to lift you up. It's time to celebrate. Good afternoon to Connecting Caregivers with me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers with love, laughter, and lessons learned on the show where you can find help and hope. We have Mr. Ed on the board today. How you doing, Ed?
Howdy doody. It's a little cooler.
Yeah?
I'm liking it.
I'll take whatever
but I
can
still
get.
Want that cold front.
I'm going
You better move.
I'm going to Canada on Thursday. I'll send you some pictures.
Well, that's not a cold front. That's a frozen front.
And with me is my best friend, my co-host, and my sidekick, not psychic, Lynn Thornley.
Afternoon. Nice to be here.
How are you today?
Doing well.
Good. I want to give a shout out to our newest listeners. We have Janet in Clearwater, we have Michaela in Largo, and we have Grace in Dunedin.
Oh, welcome, ladies.
And like I always say, there's plenty of room around the Connecting Caregivers table for more listeners, whether you listen to us when we're live or on YouTube, Facebook, my website, wherever they'll take us. We're just here to help you out because we know your caregiving experience can be tough. And you need to learn about resources and you need to get an education. And that's what we're here to do. You know, I did a support group this morning at Arden Courts, and it just delights me when I see a new person come in and all of a sudden their eyes start lighting up and they start asking questions. It really just makes me very excited. So we have with us today Darla Otey from Girls Inc.
Hey there, everybody.
So glad you're here.
You, Linda.
And we're going to chat on the second half of the show.
Sounds good.
And during the first half, if you ever have any questions or comments, please, we're just all here talking together.
Okay.
So that's a really good thing. I'm excited to say I was at the Seminole Recreation Center this week, and they're starting a memory cafe. And a memory cafe is where people with cognitive challenges come along with their family members for some socialization, for some community, where you can just chill out and everyone's in the same boat. And you learn of a lot of resources and everything. So it is going to be the second and fourth Wednesday of each month at 1:00 at the Seminole Recreation Center. And you can RSVP at 727-391-8345. The more memory cafes and support groups we have, the better it is for everybody. Because I want your caregivers to know that you're not alone, because this can feel like a very lonely experience. It can be very isolating and no one understands. And when you see in a support group, like one woman in the support group this morning, unfortunately, her husband is failing. He's with hospice and he's failing. And she goes, I know I can come in here and say whatever I want and really say how I'm feeling. You know, I don't want my kids to be upset and this and that. So that's a really good thing to have.
No judgment.
No judgment. And then what the wonderful thing is, you have caregivers whose loved ones have passed away and they still come to the group because they want to help each other. So like one woman, her husband died from FTD, frontal temporal dementia, and a new girl just came in. Well, you need to know about that. You girls can be buddies. You can have those conversations. And we're going to continue to have the caregiver luncheons every 6 weeks. We had a luncheon this week at O'Keefe's in Clearwater, and it was sponsored by Attorney Sean Scott. And it was wonderful because people had the opportunity to ask questions and just to be together. And every time I hear from Sean Scott, I learn something new. We're having another event I want to let you know about on October 15th at the Seminole City Parkview Room from 10:30 to 1:30, totally free for caregivers. We have a panel, Sean Scott from Scott Law, Debbie Yonis from Voices of Hope for Aphasia. And you know there's more people in Pinellas County now with aphasia than Parkinson's. So we need to have this conversation. Ellie Baldwin from Sunway Senior Living Concierge, Donna Caesar from Arden Courts, Kim Saberi from St. Anthony's Memory Disorders, and Dr. Sunny. So a lot of opportunity to learn a lot of things. We'll have a panel. We'll have some vendor tables when you come in. We'll have a panel for an hour and a half where I'll be the MC and you can ask your questions. We'll have a lovely lunch. You'll be able to ask some questions during lunch. And we'll have some surprise entertainment during lunch that I promise you don't want to miss. So we have our next guest on the phone, Alfredo Botello. Hi, my friend. How are you today?
I'm good, Linda. How are you doing?
Joyful and grateful.
Wow, that's great.
We have a choice, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's great.
It was years ago. People would say, "How are you doing, Linda?" And I would say, "I'm hanging in there." And I thought one day, who wants to be hanging in there? And no one wants to hear the next sentence after you say that. So I always say I'm joyful and grateful. And sometimes they look at me with a little nod of their head and I say, some days I'm joyfully challenged, but I'm always grateful.
That's a wonderful way to go through life.
Yeah.
That's great.
So tell our listeners a little bit about your background.
I'm sorry, say that again, please.
Tell our listeners a little bit about your background, who you are.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. So I'm a writer. And I've been working both in screenwriting for about 20, 25 years now. And more recently, the last 5 years, I've become a novelist. I decided to try a different format, and that's been incredibly fulfilling and rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Just in a nutshell, before that, in a previous life, much younger, I was an architect, and that was great. But it took a while to realize that I love architecture, but don't think I'm the best practitioner of it. More an appreciator. So writing is my passion, that's kind of a nutshell of me.
So we're going to talk a little bit about your latest book today, Spin Cycle: Notes from a Reluctant Caregiver. I like the honesty in that. And I find that people, mostly all the authors that I interview, have written a book because they took care of a loved one. And they want to share what they have so that the caregiving experience can be easier for others. So why did you write a novel about caregiving?
I wrote it because it was the book I wish I had had about 5 or 6 years ago when my mom was first diagnosed with likely onset Alzheimer's. I was blindsided. I feel like caring for somebody, especially like an older parent, family member, we're all kind of primed when we're young to, I think, to kind of expect to have kids. There's a zillion books out there, Lamaze classes,
Right.
TV shows. We all kind of expect that. But if there was a class on caring for your parent, I tell you, I missed it entirely until it just happened. And it fell in my lap. So my stepdad passed away in 2020. And that's when it became clear to me that something was different with mom. And it was very hard for everyone. And for me, emotionally, I was short. I was snippy. I didn't understand what was going on. I would feel good, patient. That would become then impatient. I would feel then guilty, lather, rinse, repeat. And I started poking around for books. And there were plenty of kind of bullet point how-to caregiver books, but there weren't really books that I felt addressed the emotional part of it as much. And for me, that was really the hardest part: the doing of stuff, the filling out of forms, the getting medical supply, all that. Those are kind of errands, and I'm a Virgo. I'm kind of good at that. But the emotional stuff
It's
was
heartbreaking.
really hard. And I wish I had this book and someone had kind of forced me to read it before I began becoming my mom's caretaker and caregiver. I'd like to think that it would have made me a little more patient and compassionate, because at the end of the day, if nothing else, I think we could all use a little more compassion in dealing with not just this, but with anything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm trying to groom my daughter and my grandchildren for my aging because I love my daughter to death, but I know I should be like, come on, Mom, just get up. You can do it, Mom. Come on. Because she thinks I'm 45 now. So, so I'm trying to teach them.
Yeah, good luck. But yeah, I've actually threatened to take my son out of my will if he's not nice to me and takes care of me.
Yeah.
I'm only joking. I don't even know how to do that, but that's my threat. But
I think as we face all these situations and we talk more about it, like for me, I'm very concerned about aging in place. So, I had my bathroom remodeled so I can just walk straight in, a really high toilet because I'm tall. Because hopefully that won't have to happen. And if it does, it'll be a little bit easier on my family.
Yeah, right. Anything we can do to kind of pave, smooth the road is great.
So what advice do you give people who suddenly find themselves in the role of caregiver? Because what happens. It either happens overnight, somebody has a stroke, an accident or whatever, or it happens so gradual, you don't even realize you're a caregiver.
I think, and I think I learned this the hard way, probably like most people do. You have to be ready, I think, to pivot quickly, to give up expectations. I mean, the way to put it, wasn't an athlete or anything, but I had friends who were football players, baseball players, and they always say the same thing, which is take what the defense gives you. And that's a hard lesson. So just when you think you've got something figured out, like, so for example, I made a medication checklist for mom when her memory started going. And I just kept simplifying it till all it was 4 boxes. It was breakfast, lunch, dinner, bedtime.
Right.
And all she had to do was check the box, take the medication, the metoprolol, the diltiazem, whatever it was, and that's that. And that worked for a while until it didn't work.
Right.
And as the disease progressed, I thought I had solved the problem. Like, no, don't have to deal with it anymore. But no, you're just, it's whack-a-mole. So you're putting out the fires immediately in front of you. And I think the less resistant you are to not being willing to kind of change and roll with it, the harder time you're going to have. You're going to make yourself miserable. So that would be my biggest bit of advice, is just to be able to kind of roll with it and don't, just see what the day gives you. See what mom or dad are like in the moment, because it does change day to day.
And it's okay if everything's not perfect. Nothing's perfect. And
go
ahead.
I was going to say, that's the old cliche. Don't let perfect be the enemy of the good.
Yeah, exactly. So, exactly. And reach out for help, because people are even embarrassed to talk about it. Somebody said to me this morning in the support group I did this morning, she goes, when my grandmother got dementia, we were embarrassed to tell anybody. Well, if your grandmother had cancer, would you be embarrassed to tell anybody? No. No,
I think that's kind of true of invisible stuff. So whether it's dementia or if it's any kind of mental illness, it's so much easier when you have a cast on your leg and you can be like, look, something awful happened to me, and people can feel sympathetic and say, oh, well, you can't walk as well. Clearly, it's nothing to be embarrassed about or to make fun of. But when it's something you can't see so easily, I think we tend to dismiss it or not understand it, make fun of it, all that stuff.
Well, a lot of people with dementia, their only problem is dementia. They don't have heart issues, I don't know how that works, but that happens, and I think when you can realize that, you're like, okay, let's see how we can deal with this and what we can do with it. But I think reaching out and knowing you're not the only one, I met some women in my mailroom a while back, and one woman opened up her mailbox and there was so much mail in it, it fell out on the floor, and she started crying, and I'm thinking, it's just mail. And I'm helping her pick up the mail, and she says, my husband has dementia and I can't even get out of the house. And the other lady in the mailroom says, oh, my husband has dementia too. I said, you girls need to be friends, and you need to be friends with me. And now I see the 4 of them with their husbands walking around the complex and doing some stuff together because they know they're not alone.
That's a huge thing. For whether it's writing a book or making a movie or having a support group or having a weekly dinner, whatever form it takes, putting yourself out there and reaching out just for that exact reason, so that we all know we're not alone and this is something we're all going through, is such a comfort. It's just that alone is huge.
And we want our loved one to be social. People say to me, mom's just sitting in the chair, she's not doing nothing. Well, first of all, you took everything away from her because you could do it faster or easier. And second of all, you didn't take her out. And that's the most important thing to me. Just, I have in my papers, if I ever have to go into somewhere, I need to go outside every day. I need to be out.
And sure enough, so my mom, after it became apparent that I couldn't alone, I'm an only child, and of course I've got work and other obligations. I realized I alone couldn't take care of her. And her husband, my stepdad, had passed on, and I look in retrospect and think he was probably doing a lot more caregiving than I ever realized.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say was, yes, in terms of where mom is, so this is she's right now in the third assisted living place that we looked into, and it's been a godsend. And just for that reason, there's people who work there are, by and large, saints in my book. They love what they do. They organize great things, stuff that's so creative, like balloon badminton. I would never have thought of balloon badminton, but you can sit in a wheelchair and just with one balloon whack another balloon, and the residents love it. And there's a bunny there that they can fuss over. And my mom does art, and she loves chair yoga and all that stuff. When I see her, yes, she's got dementia, but she loves babies and
of course
little kids and dogs. So the first thing we do is we go to Starbucks, because she still just as ever loves her lattes. And if a little kid comes in, I can tell you she is up on that walker faster than Speed Racer.
Exactly.
She is over to the kid and loves to just, even though her hearing is pretty bad, she still gets enough out of the smile. And she'll always say, "Oh, look at the sun today," or "It's so beautiful," or "Look the color of the flowers." All the things that she always appreciated, she still appreciates. So you're right. I think that just stimulation of the mind, the body, the eyes, the brain, all of that is what we all crave, no matter what's going on with our brains.
Well, and we all want to feel some sense of purpose. Just something. I have one woman who her mom used to be a banker. So she gives her a huge jar filled with coins and all the paper rolls, and tells her that she's helping the people in the bank. And so all day long, she rolls up all these coins, and her daughter tells her, "I'm going to take it to the bank tonight and bring you more coins." And when she goes to bed, she dumps them out, and they start over the next day. But
that is brilliant.
Yeah.
So that is an incredible example of somebody, the daughter in that case, understanding who mom is and who she was, and preserving some form of that. I mean that anecdote to me just hits the nail on the head.
Yeah, you have to figure out what they did before, and work something around it. You can make up something. I have a guy that builds little wooden cars now. I have another woman who is a teacher, and we give her a piece of poster board every Monday and tell her the teachers are teaching the kids next week about flowers. So we need you to cut all the flowers out of this magazine and glue it on the poster board, and it can't have any white spots. And it takes her like a week to do it. And then her daughter started bringing it to the school, and kids started sending her thank you notes.
Oh,
so she was a teacher. She has a purpose.
That's perfect.
She has a purpose.
We all.
So let's talk a little bit about the role of the caregiver with your other relationships, your family, your friends, and your coworkers, because that all changes too.
Yeah, it does. And, especially for me in the beginning, I almost felt those relationships were kind of the collateral damage, because when I didn't really understand what was going on yet, and it took, not just the official diagnosis from the doctor, but just the lived experience of, is this restaurant too loud or upsetting for mom that she used to love, or now the medication list is tricky. All those things. As I was figuring that out, I would be exhausted, emotionally drained, so that when I got home to my girlfriend or my work colleague,
you're shot.
I really had nothing left to give, and I would either kind of withdraw and go silent, or I would be grouchy, and that's not fair. So you have to, I think it's part of the package. And I guess this sort of goes to the question of self-care a little bit, giving yourself that break or not expecting perfection. But you need to do something to preserve those relationships, because it can be hard, and it was hard.
Yeah. And just taking the time with our loved ones too, because I find what happens is a lot of caregivers just get task oriented, and they're just worrying about pooing and peeping and pilling and this and that. Sit down. Touch mom, hold her hand, talk to her, and people say, oh, people come to visit, they don't know what to say to her, they don't know what to do. Create a memory box. If mom was born in Brooklyn, print out some pictures from Brooklyn. If she was a Girl Scout leader, print out some pictures of that, and then they can pick it up and say, I didn't know you were a Girl Scout leader.
That's great. So I on that same note, so with my mom, I had dug up some old photo albums from when I was a kid, when she was a kid, her just life in the 70s, 80s, 90s, so on. And I was at first hesitant. I didn't know if I should bring them by. I thought, well, gosh, maybe she'd be sad if she saw these things and would think about, wow, look at, I was younger. happier and had my whole life ahead of me. But that was a case, Linda, where I was just making an assumption. So I took the risk. I brought in one photo album, and she just loved it. She was like, "Oh my God, I basically saying I've had such a great life. Those were such happy times." And it doesn't make her sad. It's the opposite. She's able to kind of integrate all that memory, and it brings her joy. So that was another lesson, is to, like you said, kind of reminding a person of their interests and the memory box idea. And then I wanted to say too, when you mentioned people kind of unsure what to do when they visited, there is a thing, and like you mentioned, holding hands. And this for me was another big eye opener, because as a writer, I'm used to communicating through language, through words.
Right.
So like my mom and I growing up, I would have inside jokes. I could tease her. Like some of those things have been lost. Like my mom is, she's much more, I would say, literal today with language. So I have to, and because of the hearing, I type it all out on my laptop in 24-point font anyway, and spin my laptop around to face it to her and say things like, "Do you want to go to the groceries and get apples?" Or I saw.
You're a good son.
My girlfriend and I went out to a movie. And it's a little bit sad in that I can't joke the way I used to. I think it doesn't quite follow. But there's other. What I have discovered is that there's all these nonverbal things, which is
the feelings.
It's a feeling. Because she can. This is one big thing I've learned, which is even if things like logic and language kind of don't work so much, emotion is still there.
Yeah.
So she can see from the expression on my face, am I in a good mood? Am I in a bad mood? Am I happy to see her?
Right.
Am I pressed for time? She reads all that perfectly. I remember her saying something like, "Wow, you seem really pissed last time." I mean, suddenly her memory is absolutely clear. I got here the last visit because I don't even know what the situation was, but I was blown away. And yes, of course, like if I take her hand as we're driving to Starbucks, or smile, or show her a video. We have 2 dogs and 2 cats. Show her video of the animals. She just loves it. These are nonverbal ways where I'm still connecting with her. So that was another great eye opener for me.
Yeah. I hate to cut you short, but our time has come to an end for today.
Oh, wow.
Where can our listeners find you?
Oh, my website, alfredobotello.com. It's my name. I'll just spell that. It's ALFREDO, B as in boy, OTELLO.com. There you can find links to my novels, including this one, including a chapter I wrote for Wellness Through Words, also about caring for mom, at the nonfiction real chapter of Mom and Me. And you get this kind of a sense of what I'm about. So yeah, that's the place to look.
Yeah, I'd like to talk more too down the road, because I do 2 virtual conferences a year, 3 days with 18 speakers. My one for November is booked, but maybe in May we might entertain that you would be part of that.
Yeah, well, you have my contact, so please
I got
reach out.
everything. And when we talk about joking, just to mention, I took a survey of my 3,000 caregivers about 3 months ago, and I said, "What do you want from me?" And they said, "Linda, we're tired of caregiver guilt and caregiver burnout and dementia and Alzheimer's, and can you entertain us?" So I'm now doing stand-up comedy. So go to Jokester Josie Jones on all the channels. I'm on everywhere, and you can have a good laugh.
And that is fantastic advice for anybody who's a caregiver. Just don't forget to laugh.
Yes. Thank you so much, my friend.
Take care.
Have a delicious day.
You too. Take care.
And now it's time to hear from our wonderful sponsors, because you know the deal. If you don't hear from them, you don't hear from me. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help, because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides.
Are you getting older, or are you taking care of somebody who is? You know, getting older creates new problems you probably never imagined. One of the big ones is, how do you pay for care? Care in your home, care in an assisted living facility, or care in a nursing home. Did you know that nursing home care in our community can cost up to $12,000 per month? For the last 33 years, our office has helped families access benefits, including Medicaid, VA, and PACE, to help pay for the cost of long-term care. Regardless of what your assets are or what your income is, you can qualify for these benefits. Proper planning and guidance are absolutely necessary to avoid being wiped out. Let us help. If you are in care or heading in that direction, we can help solve that problem. Take action now to obtain benefits to pay for the cost of care. Here are the 4 things that you need to do. 1, get a new power of attorney. Your old one probably isn't good enough. Get a healthcare surrogate and a living will. 3, get an estate plan that will not disqualify you from benefits. And 4, get a plan to qualify for Medicaid, PACE, or VA benefits to pay for the long-term care costs. Call us today for a free consultation, 727-539-0181, or go to flmedicaid.com and download our free book on Medicaid and planning for long-term care. I'm Sean Scott. I'm here to help.
Guaranteed to make you laugh through your tears, Linda Burhan's book, Good Night and God Bless, is filled with humor and heartfelt inspiration to aid anyone facing the challenge of caring for a loved one at the end of life. Her story offers hope for human strength and understanding of weaknesses during a difficult time. Life doesn't normally prepare us to become a loved one's caregiver. When it happens, it's usually sudden. A diagnosis of an illness, age-related frailty, dementia, and life suddenly is anything but normal. And because we don't even know what we don't know, where do we turn to for help or guidance? In Connecting Caregivers, Answers to the Questions You Didn't Know You Needed to Ask, Linda offers information, education, and inspiration from her own experience and from experts whose advice, practical tools, and personal stories will empower and guide you. Make sure to add these inspiring books to your collection.
Man to talk to. I'd like to discuss it with him further. So go out and get his cycle.
What a great name he has.
Well,
too.
Alfredo just makes me think about we should be
Alfredo
going out to dinner or
Botello.
something like that. And he's very handsome, I will say too.
And now we have
so.
another great name person.
Yes.
Oh, let's not go there.
No, let's. So we have Darla Otey here from Girls Inc. But let's talk about Darla and Otey.
So funny enough, of course, Darla is with the Little Rascals. And wouldn't you know it, that buckwheat says Otey.
Yeah, so it's like, what
Thanks,
the
Mom.
But there was no plan on that. Or
No,
anything.
it wasn't planned.
It wasn't?
It was not.
Oh.
My mom's name was Doris, and my dad wanted to name me after my mom. And my mom said, one Doris is enough. So he came up with Darla. And what can we do? Our surname is Otey.
But isn't it funny how you can name your boys after the father, but very seldom do they name the girl?
Yeah,
That's why there's no Lindas anymore. They're all our age.
true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
They don't carry on.
I go to Curbs in the morning.
Yep.
So there's
Yep.
like 14 of us that go at the same time, and 8 of us, our name is Linda.
You're kidding
So
me.
it's like, 'cause that was the day.
That exactly.
But now
that was a
nobody.
popular name.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself and Girls Inc. and how you got involved.
Yeah. So I have been in the nonprofit space for about 35 years. I can't say I've always wanted to work with or for children. Before I was married, I didn't even want any children. But I started sharing with you earlier before we came on the air that my late husband was a pastor. And that's important because about 6 months into our marriage, he had been called to start this church in Philadelphia. I was driving with our youngest daughter. She was about 6 months old, and down the cobble street in Philadelphia, a car came zooming out around us, and then a police car. And I just thought, here we are in the middle of a police chase. I'm in downtown Philadelphia, height of the crack epidemic. So I knew what was happening. Well, that car that was being chased ran into a telephone pole, Linda. 2 kids jumped out. They looked maybe 11, 12. And one of them ran into a telephone pole, turned around, knocked himself silly, and was facing the officer who had jumped out of his car, was chasing him, pulled out his weapon and shot him in the face. A sheet of blood. That for me was a defining moment. And I don't know if you've ever had an epiphany, but it was like I saw that young man's childhood to where he was and all the things there. And as quickly as I saw that, I saw if he had gotten the proper guidance.
Yeah, you
where
had that.
Yes. So 6 months with gone to the czar of education in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, learned what it would take to start a school, and founded a school for children of crack addicted parents in Philadelphia. Ran that for 11 years. And that was my beginning of work in nonprofit space. So fast forward to 5 years ago, I was called to Girls Inc. of Pinellas County. They were on the verge of closing their doors, and we love a challenge. And so that was January 2020. The mission of Girls Inc. is to inspire all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. And that moment in that time required that for me. You'll remember why when I tell you when I started. January 13th, 2020. February 1st, COVID hit, or we started learning about COVID. Right. Well, at that time, they were on the brink of closing their doors. I had done my assessments, brought everything to the board, and said it's going to take me about 18 months to get the money back, the grants, get the buildings done, and I think I can get us into the black in 18 months. But then 2 weeks later, we find out about COVID. 1 month later, we learned that the schools are closing their brick and mortar doors. Well, wouldn't you know it, 90% of the girls that we were serving at that time were elementary age. And our families are blue collar. Right. We couldn't imagine them home by themselves. Well, maybe we could. And what might happen? So I went back to the board and said, hey, I know right now we're running an after school program, but I need us to have our doors open all day. And they looked at me and said, Darla, you're the one who just told us that it would take us 18 months to get in the black. How are we going to open our doors all day? But they did come back and say, you know what, if you think you can do it, we've got your back. So we closed 2 weeks, and you'll remember all the days of the CDC, kind of learning about those thermostats, those shields on the faces, et cetera. And we trained our staff. We came back within 2 weeks. We opened our doors at 6 a.m. and stayed open until 6:30 in the evening. Because of that, and I wrote press releases, and Channel 8 picked us up. And within 9 months, every debt was paid off. All the vehicles were paid off. Every credit card was paid off. $100,000 line of credit was paid off. And today we just received the largest single gift in the history of Girls Inc. of Pinellas of $1 million. That $1 million we're putting in the endowment fund so that the organization will be long-term sustainable, and we'll use it and leverage it to raise $10 million so we can build a new building and expand programming. What do? We inspire girls. Right now, our focus is on science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. How do you find the girls? So the girls, I should say, not just Pinellas. We just are expanding from being Girls Inc. of Pinellas to being Girls Inc. of the Greater Tampa Bay. So the girls, any child from 5 years old to 18 years old is welcome to come, but they usually learn about us through their schools. Right. And so that's how we kind of get the word out. But of course, we advertise other places, social media, newspapers, etc. But girls apply because we have learned, and research has borne out, that single-gendered education allows girls to blossom in a way that they don't necessarily do in a co-ed environment, right? And not only do we provide after school and camp programming, but Linda, you got to come and visit us sometime. I'm coming. For instance, our last spring break camp was artificial intelligence camp. The girls used augmented reality. They built prototypes of cars and puzzles and planes, all using artificial intelligence. Lockheed Martin sponsored it. And at the end of that week, they went to the Lockheed Martin campus and saw planes that were built and are flown using artificial intelligence. That's one of many things that we do to change their lives and open their world.
Inspire them for a whole different career, for a whole opportunity.
Absolutely.
You know, when I was a kid, you were a teacher or this or that.
Nurse or a teacher.
Yeah, when I think now of the opportunities of all the different jobs there are in the world,
It's
crazy.
incredible.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another a story. We took a group of girls after a week of or month, sorry, of programming with Raymond James. We took a group of girls to Raymond James, and Raymond James brought them into what they call Command Central. And in that space, it was all around cybersecurity. The girls were able to see every second all around the world people who were attempting to break the firewalls and steal money.
Really?
And here they were, open to a whole new career. If I could learn cybersecurity, here's a career path for me. So
Yeah.
again, you saw their eyes churning
Yeah.
and their brain. So amazing things for girls.
Yeah, because there's opportunities out there, but they have to know about it.
They have to know about it.
All right. So, do they pay anything?
And so 85% of our girls come free of charge. And here are all the girls that come free. If they are children of families that are veteran or military, if they are children of law enforcement folks, or if their family simply cannot afford to pay, they come free of charge. Our tuition for after-school program is only $65. 85% of our families don't even pay that. They come free of charge. Our summer camp tuition for a week, 7:30 to 5:30. Each week is only $125.
Oh, wow.
And it's
That's crazy.
7 weeks. Now, my favorite program in the summertime, 7 weeks. It's a program free of charge, regardless of whether or not you can afford to pay or if you fit those categories, is a program called Ready, Set, Kindergarten. We take in 5-year-old girls that are getting ready to go to kindergarten, and we expose them to literacy, numeracy, social and emotional wellness so that that critical first year is successful. That's my favorite program.
Because you know what? Some of the moms are just working so hard.
Yes.
And they don't even have time to do it. Years ago, there was a place called Pinellas Village, and it was where moms would live, single moms or dads,
yes,
with their children. They had to, for very low rent, they had to be working full-time or going to school full-time. And I can remember going there and giving some simple cooking classes.
Yes.
And another time going there, and the moms were like, I don't even know what age books my kids should be reading. Like what's appropriate.
Because she's busy. She's
and
surviving.
she doesn't know. Maybe she's 17.
Yes.
She's still a baby.
Right.
So to have those opportunities,
yes,
you could just see the difference that it really made in their lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So how many girls do you have at a time?
And so it varies. We not only serve the girls at our Pinellas Park site. At that site in the summertime, we generally have between 100 and 125 girls in the summer. During the academic school year, between 35 and 50 girls. But while we are serving girls at our Pinellas Park site simultaneously, we have a comprehensive outreach team in Pinellas County and in Hillsborough County. They're serving girls in schools. Over the course of the year, we serve about 500 girls. As we move through this new phase that I shared with you, Becoming Girls Inc. of Tampa Bay, we're anticipating serving between 2,500 and 5,000 girls a year.
Wow.
Oh, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
And so how do they get to the program like after school?
So for after school, we send out our vans and pick them up throughout Pinellas County.
That could be another issue. If you can't
Another
get there.
issue. That's right.
And then their parents just come pick them
Their
up.
parents pick them up after work.
Now, what do the parents say?
Oh man, if I should have brought with you some of the Google reviews from the summer camp. The parents are excited because not only is it a safe place and a place where their girls are learning and growing, but they're forming friendships that will last a lifetime. They're impressed with the way that our staff not only love the girls, but our staff are well qualified.
And you
and
respect
working
them.
with the girls and respect them. And once the girls realize that it's safe, you don't have that cattiness.
No, and you watch the blossom.
There you go. There you go.
You watch them see that there's a different way.
Absolutely.
And that it can be a different way.
Yes.
Wow, I'm telling you, I'm crying. It's so exciting. I just, yeah. So give me some success stories. Because what happens when they graduate then?
It's funny that you asked. This morning I attended the Pinellas Education Foundation annual Change Maker breakfast, and I ran into one of our alum. Her name is Jennifer, and she is a vice president at a construction company. She went through Girls Inc. in Pinellas County from the time she was 11 years old until she graduated high school. There's another young lady that I have in mind. Her name is Victoria. She came to us when she was 8 years old. She was shy and a shell, barely talked to anybody. Within 2 years of our program, she had been exposed to our modeling program. She walked in the Macy's fashion show. And last year's gala, she was our featured speaker in front of over 200 guests.
How cool.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's setting her up for success.
Oh, definitely. Okay, now hard questions. So kids that come from drug addict families, you have issues with that. What can you do for those kids?
Yeah. And so, Linda, that's an amazing question. And here's the reason I'm glad that you asked. There are some girls whose issues are profound, whether it's educational or emotional, mental, that we are not currently equipped to handle. But you remember I said that we're leveraging that $1 million to bring in $10 million. A part of our strategic plan is to build a wing for mental health and mental wellness for our girls and their families. We're learning that it's critical.
Yeah.
It's critical. And often we did one of our maybe 2 seasons ago for our spring break, we brought in a private program to help our girls in the space of mental wellness. So they taught at their level boundaries, healthy relationships, good decision
something
making.
they think is okay and it's not okay.
And it's not
somebody has to teach them
okay.
that that's not okay.
That's right. But here's what we learned during that first year, Linda, we just did the girls. What we learned was that the girls were going home and trying to use the tools that they learned, and they were hearing something different at home. So that second year, we worked with the girls during the day, and then we set up virtual sessions for the families
That's
at
fabulous.
night. And so they were growing together, how to communicate without yelling, how to work with girls who are going through puberty, how to see the difference between defiance and growth and development or fear. Yes. And so I'm so glad that you asked that, because it's a critical area.
Yeah. Because so many people, like you say, they see defiance. It's a lot of it is fear.
Yes.
A lot of it is fear.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you've had a lot of kids that have been through some big problems.
Oh, yes.
But they can change.
Right.
And there's opportunities for that.
Right.
And then when they know that, they can do that for somebody else.
Yes.
And their mom, even if they can just help their mom feel better, or their brother.
Right. Right. And in that space, we call it trauma-informed care. But being in this community, we are so very blessed. We get interns from USF, from Eckerd, from St. Pete College, who are also on their journey of learning and discovery, and they want to work in this space.
Yeah.
So it becomes reciprocal. Girls Inc. is supporting them in their growth, and they're supporting our girls as they learn and grow.
I love Tampa Bay.
Oh, yes.
I say
it's an amazing community.
So blessed to be surrounded by professionals that want to make a difference.
Yes.
That all work together, because sometimes I go to other states and they're like, don't talk to her or whatever. I'm like, what?
Yes.
Whatever. But we have some fabulous people in this area that do make a difference. And this is what I'm going to boil down to. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. Oh, the world's a mess, and we know everything that's going on and everything. But you can make a difference in your community.
That's right.
If you just make a difference in your community, the world will be a better place. I'm in Kiwanis for 19 years.
Yes.
And our Field of Honor is coming up. And I tell my grandchildren, service work is not an option. It's a responsibility.
Yes.
This is the town that you live in, and you should know about it, and you should do something to help it. And they go, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as they get there, they go, oh, this is fun. When can we do some more?
Linda, you may have heard that it was the Shirley Chisholm once said, our rent for living on this earth is service to others.
Amen.
Our rent for living on this earth is service to others. It's a gift to be here.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll quote something that my mother used to say. I don't know where she got it from, but she used to say, the love in your heart wasn't put there to stay. Love isn't love until you give it away.
Oh, smart mom you had.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom said it's a tough life if you don't weaken.
We'll put them together, right? but
my
love
goodness.
isn't a feeling. It's what we do for our fellow man, and it's not just for people who look like us, think like us.
No,
Yeah,
because we're all the same.
there
We're
you go.
exactly the same.
Exactly.
Okay, so we want our health, we want to be loved, we want a roof over our head. We may have different interests or hobbies or whatever, but we're exactly the same. And when you realize we're exactly the same, you make so many more friends.
Yes,
Because you're not judging anybody.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, and that's what matters.
Where can our listeners find you?
So on our website, we are Girls Inc. Dash. That's that upper case hyphen Pinellas.org. Girls Inc. Dash Pinellas.org. And we have a lot of fun events every year, and you'll find them right on the website. If I may, Linda, share, we are always looking for what we call champions for girls. And that's, as we said earlier, 85% of our girls don't pay. But if you want to be a champion for a girl on our website, $83 a month adds up to $1,000 a year. And that covers 7 weeks of camp for a girl in the
Wow.
summertime.
Yeah, 7 weeks is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I know.
You're not going to
I
find
have
it
grandsons
anywhere.
and I help
Oh,
with
yes.
their things in the scene.
Now we know.
He just
where-
took a cooking class the other night for 2 hours. It was $55.
Exactly. It's
It's
expensive.
too bad they're boys.
I know. we need a boys Inc. Anyway.
Yeah.
Do you need a phone number?
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Linda. Our telephone number is 727-544-6230. Again, that's 727-544-6230.
Great. And I'll put all the information in the show for you guys. Right now, it's time to hear from our wonderful partners, so don't go away.
Before it has a heart
Yeah,
attack.
he's in there going.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Choosing the right chiropractor is an important choice to make. Located in Seminole, the Alexander Spine Center team is trained on the latest chiropractic treatments and technologies. At Alexander Spine Center, you'll find chiropractic and physical therapy care that is safe, effective, and a natural approach to pain and other health-related issues. Chiropractic unlocks your body's potential and natural healing process to ensure your life is a healthy life. We treat clients from the womb to the tomb. Call 727-397-3000 for a free consultation today, or visit our website at www.alexanderspinecenter.com.
They take good care of me twice a week, so check them out.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides.
We believe the power of the human body and mind can do amazing things, and that tapping into that power, not just tricking it with a temporary disguise, is possible. Superpatch technology uses a special pattern and vibrotactile technology to help you go from feeling blah to hurrah. Now, once the Superpatch is in contact with your skin, it triggers a neutral response in the brainstem that helps you tackle your daily problems head on. Whether you're struggling with pain, balance, stress, or focus, we have a solution that might be right for you. With Superpatch's 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Hi, this is Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers. I started using the Liberty Patch over 3 years ago. I used to be a tripper, but since wearing a Liberty Patch, I haven't tripped once. The Liberty Patch is proven to reduce the risk of falling by up to 8 times. And as we all know, if you prevent the fall, you prevent the call. Don't wait until it's too late. Preventative solutions are the answer.
Superpatch does not claim to diagnose, treat, or cure illness. Superpatch is FDA registered. To receive 25% off your first order, go to sticktoit.info. That's sticktoit.info and learn more.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
And we're back. So tune in this week, the 16th, to Fox News at 4 p.m. I will be on there with Voices of Hope for Aphasia. like I say, I want to start having some more conversations about aphasia because I think people don't know about it. Recently, I met a gentleman. He had a business card, and on his card it said, "Hi, my name is Mike. I am not drunk and I'm not stupid. I have aphasia." Because people approach him and think that he's drunk or that he's stupid, and that's why he can't talk clearly. So we need to talk about that more. One last thing before we wrap up. The Field of Honor in Seminole, you can sponsor a flag for a veteran for $35. It'll be up for the entire month of November. We're planning on having 600 flags this year. We started a little over 10 years ago with 24 flags. So even if you don't sponsor a flag after November 1st, just drive by, because when you drive by and you see 600 flags and a streamer on each one representing a veteran, either a past veteran or a current veteran, it just warms your heart. I won't be here next week. I'll be in Canada. But my niece, Beth Weingart, will be running the show, so be kind to her. I'm sure it will be wonderful. Remember, God loves you all the time, and have a delicious day.